Hey there, YouTube. This will be my first ever video, or something that I want to call lifting in life. So obviously, it's going to be a little bit of a mixture of where I lift, show what I like to do in my free time here at the gym, and also talk about life, as hence the title, Lifting in Life. So obviously, this is my first video, and I want to start off nice and simple with uh, talking about really interesting conversation that came up at work today, and it's forgiveness and understanding why others believe what they believe and do what they do. And I had a really deep conversation today, and one of something like this. So, people go through life and they have their own experiences, and these experiences shape who they are, what they believe in, and the acts that they do each and every day. And uh, you know, understanding that if somebody doesn't like what you like, if they don't do what you do, and it's because they've had different experiences. They're not bad people, but they've gone through things that you haven't gone through. And in order to be, in my opinion, a healthy, positive human being, which is something that the world so desperately needs nowadays, you need to be forgiving and passionate with others, and try to seek what you know they see in their heads and understand and come to a middle ground, so y'all can talk and have that healthy line of communication. And for that, it's first asking them why they believe what they believe. No positive ways you can do this. Like, for example, I'm a personal Christian. I'm not a hard practicing one. I read the Bible and I try to understand what it means. And one of my favorite team captains that I work with, she's gay. She likes girls. And most people would be like, "Oh, how are you friends with a gay if you're a practicing Christian and it's how you were raised?" Well, for me, it's not hitting the sin. It's doing what Jesus would do, and that is walking, preaching, forgiving, and healing others. And for me, that's being there for her, talking with her, helping her through times of pain, even if she was hurt by a guy or a girl. It doesn't matter. She was hurt, and her experiences shaped who she was. She found out through multiple trials and errors that she just likes girls more. And who am I? Like, we all know the popular phrase, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." And you're not supposed to pass judgment onto others. That's only God. So for me, I'm practicing passion. I'm practicing love, with what Jesus would do each day, and he would practice love and passion for others. And for me, it's loving and having passion for those that aren't me. And if they don't believe what I believe, if they aren't into what I'm into, who am I to judge? Who am I to cast that stone? And I feel like so many people nowadays stray so far from what I believe we should actually learn from Jesus and the Bible, and that's to love others and to be there with them, and to love and cherish and understand what they've gone through, and finding out what shaped them into the person they are today. And a lot of people have been through a lot of pain, and some people never get out of that rut. And for me, lifting, and as of recent, getting back into the Bible and really reading and understanding it has gotten me to a really positive mental state. And it's why I wanted to start this series. And I'm just a run-of-the-mill dude, right? I don't do any sort of enhancers. I'm not anything special. I'm just a normal guy lifting, working, going to college, and I just want to share my story. I've been through a lot, and for me, it was a huge. I'm a weight loss guy. I used to be a really big kid, 350 pounds, and I lost it. And I lost 120 pounds in 5 months. I had the transformation. I can share it's on my Instagram and stuff like that. And these things shaped who I am, right? Whenever people talk to me, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about my experiences and what I've been through. And for me, that's my health and fitness. And as of recent, it's my getting back in touch with Jesus and the Bible and God himself. So for me, that's what I want to talk about. These are my experiences, and I want to share this with other people. Maybe the person who's watching it, or anybody else that you want to share this video with. But I'm just here to do one thing. A couple of things. Lift, talk about life, and just be the normal guy that I feel like has kind of strayed away from social media. I see a lot of normal people, just not in touch with reality. And for me, I just want to go back down to earth, talk about the basic core fundamentals of life and what it means to really be a human. And that's what the series is about. I'll be doing daily videos and really trying to just share my story. And if I get 1 million subscribers one day, then that's great. But 1 subscriber, 1 million subscribers, I don't care. I just want to do this. I want to talk, and I want to share my thoughts. I'm still on that. Going back on the topic of not being afraid to be yourself, I think this is a great example of something that I'm finally coming out of my shell for. Back in 2020, I never would that. I was a big guy. But now that I've lost the weight and I've gotten pretty good at the gym, in my opinion, I feel like it's a good time to actually break down and start doing something like this. And for me, I'm a pretty outgoing guy. A lot of my friends know me as pretty talkative. I'm not afraid of social situations, but even when it's something like this, I still get a little bit giddy thinking about the opportunity, right? And for other people, it's so much as just walking outside. It's, being with friends, being with family. Some people are scared to even do that. And I think that is a great hill to climb. Everybody's got something to overcome. If it's talking to somebody you love, talking to a friend, going out of your house, then find ways to reach that goal. And I guarantee you take that first step, there's going to be a world that you never thought possible. And so you'll find yourself confident and happy and doing something you never thought was possible. And for me, this is a small step. Sharing my story, talking about things that interest me. It's something that I've been thinking about for a long time. And so, for me, it's doing this. For you, it could be, talking to a girl, talking to a guy, taking a class in school that you're scared of. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, and that's just great. And it's a small step we have to take to be ourselves. Not taking steps because you're afraid. It's of course scary. But knowing that when you do take that step, that it's not going to be as bad in most cases as you think, and it's actually going to be pretty fun for you, is something that people have to get over. And working out was something for me for a little bit, and then it became talking, and then it became other stuff. There's always going to be worries in your life, but it's always going to be there. You're never going to live a worry-free life, and it's just taking down things one step at a time. And so, being yourself is not being afraid of what other people think. Because again, other people have experiences that shape them and make them who they are today. And you can't judge them, you can't pass, hate, resentment, or anger towards them because they have their own lives. And you have your own life as well, your own experiences. You may think something that other people don't like, you may do something that other people don't like. That's your experience. Do you think you deserve to be hated because of what you believe? No. So you can't do that to others. You cannot practice that sort of judgment. You have to be peaceful and mindful of who you surround yourself with, for the better or for the worse. Because again, people you surround yourself with play a key role in your day-to-day. So surround yourself with positivity, and you'll find yourself taking those steps towards something that you may have been afraid of previously. But when you surround yourself with positivity, that first step would be a lot easier. I'm going to do some pull downs now because it's pull day. I finished all my compounds. So now I'm focusing on isometric, lifting a little bit heavy. I'm on a bulk right now. I'm gonna get this done. I think one of the biggest things affecting positivity in general is the household. And that starts with, maybe strict parents or parents that are always, hassling you to become something that they weren't. And I don't think it's necessarily a good thing to resent them for that. Remember, they grew up as kids too. Maybe their parents are hard on them. And, it's something you have to take responsibility for to break that cycle. I believe it's important to forgive your parents if they're hard asses or traditionalists. It's how they were raised. And they're not going to be able to change. Most of the time parents are 40s, 50s, and by then it's just hard stuck in their mentality. And they grew up in a different time than we did. So you taking the mental and changing that mentality is, I believe, perfect timing for you to showcase your capacity for forgiveness and your capacity for being somebody that can change the mentality of being a good parent. Because I think the one thing that's really afflicting the world today is bad parenting. A lot of kids growing up without fathers, a lot of kids growing up without the influence of both parents in the household. I don't think the nuclear family is bad. The nuclear family needs to come back. You need a mother and a father. You need those two influences in your life, for the better or for the worse. If they're hard on you, then they need to be hard on you. If they're good for you, then they're good for you. But the lack of parenting nowadays has really affected people's positivity and general health of society as a whole. And I believe that it's our generation's power to change that, those bonds, and they're really changing something that's more positive than, constantly blaming our parents for being hard asses or for wanting us to do this and do that. They're just trying to set us up for success, and they don't know the best way to do it. Imagine, most of y'all one day are going to be parents yourselves, and you're going to be in the position that they were in, and you're going to finally realize, that's why they said what they said. That's why they were hard on you, because they wanted you to be better than them. And I don't think it's good to always resent our parents for being hard asses. I think we need to finally open our eyes and just take it for what it is, learn from it, and showcase to our parents that, if we're passionate about something they're not passionate about, then we need to show that we have a work ethic to make it succeed. And then they'll see that that's what works. And I just don't think it's a good thing to harbor hatred for your parents for believing something that you don't believe. And that's really one of the biggest things. It starts at the household. And when you finally make that adjustment at the household level and you have positive parents and they support you, then your entire outlook on life is increased tenfold and you'll be a lot more positive. I just think the reason for so much negativity is the lack of parents, both sides, mother and father again. And that's why so many people today are walking the streets pessimistic, not believing that they're capable of what they truly are capable of, and they're staying stagnant. And then they're afflicting others with their misery, and as a whole, society just becomes miserable. And it's because we just don't have that nuclear family anymore. And I think that is what needs to make a comeback. And if you do have both parents, you need to make an effort to break that barrier and really showcase that your ethic and your positivity can outwork and outlive their pessimism, and they'll see that their child is putting an effort to continue to be who they want to be. And when they see that and they see your determination, most of them are going to start accepting you and they'll change their outlook. But you have to remember, they were raised a different way in a different generation where they were told different things than you and I were told. And so it's not good to harbor hate for somebody for being raised a different way than we were. Because again, we're going to be raising kids one day and we're going to be different than what they believed. And do you want your kids to resent you for you believing something they don't believe? No. So it's time to break those bonds, open our eyes, and change and adapt so we can all be more positive as a whole. No, today I'm doing pull day, and I really like to emphasize the compound stuff. So I start off with bent over rows. I do wide grip and then close grip. Then I come up here to do pull-ups, wide grip, close grip. I do pull downs, wide grip, close grip. Now, I know some people might think it's excessive to do all of that, but I really want to focus on the upper body compound movements. I really want to build that strong upper back. And obviously, then I move on to biceps. And for biceps, I like to do standing straight back curls. Since I'm on a bulk right now, I'm actually doing 90 for reps. And it's real hard keeping that straight back on it. But I really like pulling that weight a lot. I then supplement that with sitting down, just isometric curls, about 25, 30 pounds. And then I also like to do forearms. I'll grab a 50 easy bar and I'll do reverse. I'll do like reverse. You can see it's working a little bit right now. I do reverse curls with those to really establish that forearm strength. And then I like to move on to the final workout of the day, which is lower back. You can see it's right here. And I really like to build that lower back because you can't have a healthy back if you don't do lower. I feel like most of the power, most of the injuries come in the lower back, especially if you're doing like RDLs and squats. You really want to have that established lower back strength. So for me, this machine right here, we're gonna do lower back is the best for me. And I like grabbing 45-pound weights, just like this. And I like to do reverse curls, about maybe 3 or 4 sets of 10 and 12. And really focusing on that squeeze at the bottom of my back because I want to build that basis of strength. And it's one of my favorite workouts, and it's one of the ones I'll be recording alongside with those T-bar rows I did earlier. I'm definitely feeling it. You're definitely feeling a little bit. So, continuing to talk about the idea of positivity, you might ask yourself, well, what can I do to become more positive? What can I do when faced in a situation where negativity is just overwhelming? What can I do to practice positivity and find my path towards healthier practices, right? And obviously, as most times, I'm going to give you my personal, plan of action when I find myself in a situation where I could react negatively or I could have a bad time, get really frustrated, upset. And so what I like to do when faced in a situation that promotes disappointment, frustration, it's not so much ignoring the problem. You can never ignore the problem because then that creates a bigger problem. But it's more about reminding yourself that it's a blessing to be alive, and it's a blessing to be able to experience positivity, negativity. It is a blessing to be able to be breathing and have feelings, because that's what separates us from God's creatures, right? Animals can feel pain, but what animals can't feel is true, honest to God happiness, anger, resentment, jealousy, envy, gratefulness, relief. They cannot experience these things to the degree that we as God's creations can. And of course, again, I'm Christian. You don't have to believe in what I believe in, but no matter what, I believe there's a creator, and he created us to feel, and that's beautiful to me. And so when we're in a situation where we're feeling angry, we're feeling upset and frustrated, I think what really gets me through those types of situations, it prevents me from going overboard or lashing out, is reminding myself that what I'm going through is beautiful. And I become grateful for the fact that I feel anger, I feel frustration, I feel envy, I feel disappointment, because it's your soul, it's who you are. And of course, we react differently to different things. Some people get real upset at the slightest thing. Some people, it takes a lot to kind of get them to frown or, actually finally go, what's wrong with you? And, back then, before I lost the weight, it was a pretty bad time. And I would lash out at a lot of things. For my buddies who may know me from, gaming, I would throw my controller, I'd break stuff. I'd punch holes in walls, and that was when I was in a real bad state. And again, fitness is what got me out of that. And a huge credit to my buddy
best friend, Steven. He's the one that taught me the diet. He's the one that kept me accountable, and he's the one that got me into the gym. I'll forever be grateful for him for that. But despite the fact that Steven got me into it, it was up to me to continue that pursuit. And I found myself being more positive. When I woke up after working out, I found myself to be more grateful for my life. When I realized the beauty of my personal strength, what I can endure and what I can go through. And again, that's a feeling, right? I felt grateful, and those feelings always stick with me. So when I'm in a negative situation, I remind myself, there have been times in my life where I have been completely blissful and things have made me happy. And I remind myself, if I'm in a time where I'm negative, there's always that next time to where I'm positive. And that's what keeps me going. I acknowledge the anger, right? I look into myself, I close my eyes, and I think, you are very upset right now. And what you cannot do is lash out. Feel anger. Feel it each and every opportunity you get. But another one of the greatest blessings God bestowed upon us is being able to react with our brains and not just our instincts. You know, say you step on a dog's paw, right? Or you pull a cat's tail. What are they gonna do? They're gonna hiss, they're gonna bite, they're gonna snarl, they're gonna scratch. That's their instinct. Hey, I'm getting hurt. Something's hurting me. I'm gonna hurt whatever's hurting me back. And again, that's what separates us from animals. Is if somebody hurts me physically, I can make the decision to not lash back out. That is my power, and that leads to the power of forgiveness. That leads to the power of, again, that leads to just so many beautiful feelings and thoughts to me. We're not animals. If somebody hurts you physically, you don't have to lash back out. One of the greatest powers is the power of forgiveness, and that leads to positivity. And most of the time, if somebody were to hurt you, it's because they're hurt themselves, and they need to learn the path of positivity. They need to learn the path of there are better days ahead. And if they hurt you mentally, then you can take a step back. It's one of the things that I learned in management class. And take a step back and analyze the situation. Why is this individual upset? Why is this individual lashing out at me? You know, most of the time when somebody lashes out at you, it comes out of nowhere, right? You know, most of the time if you lash out at somebody, it comes out of nowhere. Because a lot of us pent up our anger and our frustrations, and we lash it out when it just finally boils over. And it could be your poor mother or father, it could be your best friend, it could be your spouse, it could be your animal. What you cannot do is allow that anger and frustration to overcome you and allow you to forget the power and the beauty of being able to intellectually decide, I don't need to hurt back. I can be positive in this situation. You know, say somebody walks up to you and, you know, at the store, and they just go, hey, you're ugly, right? You might go, what's wrong with this person? Why are they calling me ugly? I don't even know this person. And it becomes, what is going through this person's mind that caused them to call me ugly? Did somebody call them ugly? Are they just having a terrible day at work? Say one of the cashiers gives you a dirty look, right? Oh, wow, why did he or she give me a dirty look? Why did I deserve that? And a lot of the times the first thing you think is, what did I do to deserve that? Because we're personal beings. We think for ourselves first. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not selfishness. It's selfishness when you reach a certain point. But majority of us, really 99%, are gonna go, what did I do to deserve this? And that's one of the first things you have to make that mental decision to overcome, is going past that and going, what did they do to deserve to be in a state of frustration and anger? And then you can turn the conversation around and go, well, I think you're beautiful. I think you're attractive. Or I think that, you know, you could give them a compliment. Again, these are all hypotheticals, right? But it's turning what is potentially a very frustrating, a physical, a verbal confrontation into something that's more positive. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, we're social creatures. We want to be acknowledged and we want to be cared about by others. We want our existence, we want our efforts to be validated, we want to be appreciated. And so there are a lot of people out there that are hurt. A lot of the guys, if you're listening to this, I know for a fact, the majority of us go through each and every day not being thanked for what we do. We don't have our hard work acknowledged. We aren't being appreciated. And at the end of the day, I know a lot of y'all, I know I personally, sometimes it would just feel really good to have somebody that's close to us say, I'm proud of you. I acknowledge the work you've been doing. It has been beneficial to everybody. And hearing those words for a lot of y'all would maybe bring a tear to your eye or would make you just smile nonstop. And I personally, of course I'm not a woman, I cannot obviously know every bit of, like mental stress and what women go through on a daily basis. But I know there's a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment in society as a whole today. And we've really strayed away from that tradition of values and morals for each other. And we're not treating each other with respect, and it's causing so much anger and frustration. It's us forgetting that God made us to be loving. God made us to be caring about each other. The golden rule, treat others as you would treat yourself, or as you would like to be treated. And we've strayed so far from that path. And so if you have the opportunity in public to compliment somebody, a very easy thing, I'm sure for a lot of y'all watching this, is if you are a gym goer. Personally, me, every time I work out, I like to find the biggest guy in the gym because that was once me. Not the biggest, strongest guy, right? The biggest, big guy. And you take a moment, you pat him on the shoulder and you say, hey, big guy, you're looking good. Keep up the hard work. And so many times I see a smile on that face. And I see it, I appreciate it. It costs nothing to be nice to other people. And if you just take a moment each day to do that, you'll find not only yourself spreading positivity and joy, you'll find yourself being a lot happier in your heart. And really, that's the biggest thing with positivity, is spreading it. They say misery is contagious. Well, guess what's even more contagious? Is positivity. It's caring about who's next to you, and it's caring about who they are as a person. You don't have to love them. You don't have to think that they're the greatest person in the world. But it costs nothing to be nice to somebody else. And in the comments, I'd like to see y'all talk about a time that maybe y'all influenced somebody else's day, and y'all made them feel good, or maybe a time when you felt good, maybe a time when you were struggling, and somebody just out of the blue gave you a compliment or gave you that pat on the shoulder that really pushed you to keep going and the smile on your face and the happiness in your heart and your soul. And I really like to see those comments, and I like to just hear more, see examples of y'all doing that. And honestly, that's going to wrap up my first ever video. Again, this is all positivity. I'm going to try to do these daily, try to come out with something nice. I know I didn't do a lot of working out on camera in this video, but it's just the flow, right? I'm just an average, everyday guy, trying my best to keep things together and trying my best to spread positivity and life messages and just to be the best person that I can be. And I thank y'all for watching this video. Again, if you could, maybe share with another person. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed day.